morning, y'all. Got out in the yard, fooled around a little bit. Please don't pay attention to the condition in my yard. You tell I'm a kayak fisherman, it's full of kayaks and weeds. But I wanted to go over just the new YakAttack 16x16 Blackpak Pro. This thing is an absolute beast. You can carry far too much gear. I don't understand why one person needs to tote a dozen bags of the same color worm, but yeah, I still get into issues like that. But what I want to do is go over how it fits in 4 of our different models. So I've got a Liska, I've got a bite angler, I've got a Take 2, and I've got an OGilroy out of frame over here. We're going to set it in the back. I'll show you how I got it configured. Used it yesterday, set up in the bite angler the way I wanted it, and found out that I couldn't run it that way in the other 2 boats. So we'll go over that as soon as we get to it. I'll show you here in just a second. Right, you can tell both the Liska and the bite angler have just cavernous tank wells. You can do basically whatever you want. The way I've configured mine with the 2 tubes and the 2 tubes spread out and then the 2 tubes on the back, that's primarily because I fish with a lot of spinning gear. I'll run usually 2 bait casters and 2 spinning rods, and if I put spinning rods tight together, they tend to hang up. You know, the handles, it tends to be problematic dealing with them behind your back. So I like to spread my tubes out, and that's why I love the option of being able to move stuff around however I wanted it. So I did this in a wider configuration. You may want to do it differently. I've seen 4 rod tubes. I've seen people not putting the rod tubes on it, so you do what you want to. But in this configuration, the 16x16, it fits great back here on the back of the Liska. And it does the same thing in the back of the bite angler. See, having it set up here, I still have room for like my dry bag that I carry that has my keys and stuff like that I don't want to get a hold of. I can just put it back here out of the way. It's no problem. You can pop your latches and get to your gear however you want to. It's pretty easy to get back into, settle stuff down, look around. I can flip sideways in my boat, dig in there, because 99% of the time what I want is going to be on the bottom, always. I did find that using my little clips, if I wanted to secure everything in there, I just go underneath my bungees. Now you see I've added track back here. This is where my command stand goes that does all my filming over my back. So with the command stand in there, I still have room to get into and out of my box. Sometimes I have to tilt it depending on where it's at for getting rods in and out. But I mean, it's just a camera arm to me. And I love having it back there, having that over the shoulder view. It works very well for me, so that's the reason I've set it up. But that's the only thing that I have to be concerned with on the tank well in fitting this, is how my rods are going to go in and out of it. Alright, the Take 2 was a little bit more ticklish, because the way I wanted my configuration with the lid opening this way and all my rods to the back, it doesn't want to lay down in there. Now you got to think, this is my tandem. This boat is going to be totally loaded out with gear. The actual Torpedo battery is going to be up here. I've got cables and wires and everything like that, so there's a lot of stuff happening in this boat. Now I had 2 options. If I wanted to run it in this configuration, was to take my throwable, which you don't have to have, that's just for the big boat. But if you put your throwable right there, I can run it in the configuration that I want without issues. All of my cables and wires and everything else are going to be perfectly fine. I've got all this track back here that I could lash it down just like this, and this would be perfectly fine. So if I wanted to run it like this, which I probably will just because I like this configuration, and the lid being able to come open, and don't forget it's going to be my bride sitting back here when I'm running this boat in the tandem with the Torpedo, so she's going to be the one needing to get to it. So it's honestly going to come back to her choice how she wants this lid to work. So, but this works very well for getting in and out, and I can strap it down however I want to. You know, here on the sides I've got all of my attachments, which that's great and dandy. If you do not want to run that pillow underneath there, watch this. This configuration works great. I mean, she's got still has access to all 6 rod tubes as easy as she wants. Get in and out of gear, close it back down, do what you need to. We've got all 4 attachment points right here, so I've got it strapped in there if I need. But this configuration works very well like that. You know, it's all in what you want to do. So if you want to put it on the throwable, turn it like you want it, or turn it sideways. If you're not running all 4 of these tubes, if you want to run all 4 of these tubes the way a lot of guys do, when you set it up, these tubes are going to be on the back, so it'll fit there. So it sits here perfectly fine, and I like that configuration as well. So it's really our choice what we want to do with it. Alright guys, so when I went to check this in the OGilroy, now the OGilroy is one of my favorites from Jackson through the years. It's a hybrid style boat, so you sit inside. The one thing that I found in this one is with the 16 by 16, it will fit in that sideways configuration, you know, the way I've got my rod tubes. The problem is I can't get my seat in the high position. So mine stays in the low position for traveling, high position for fishing. So in this case, the 16 by 16 is probably not going to be your best choice for the Gilroy. If this is your primary boat, think about that before you buy the 16 by 16. Let's check out the 16 by 13. The 16 by 13 is going to be your choice for the Gilroy. So if you're running an OGilroy, this is going to be your best bet. Now I know I don't have my lid, you know, the lid's opening that way, so I would have to change and swap out these 2 rod holders for this side so I could turn it around, put these 2 rod holders in the back, because right now these 2 rod holders are going to be in the way of this seat. So, but I could flip it around, but this is the configuration that I like to use on the other boats. So I may change it up so I can use it in this boat, just this boat. But if this is your primary vessel, I would definitely, I'd skip the 16 by 16, go with the 16 by 13. And of course, play around with it. That's the beauty of this is, you know, if you don't need all the rod holders, or if you want to put them in the configuration that you want to put them in, this thing is just, you know, unbelievably customizable for what you want. So this is a good option for this boat. Like I said, that was the one issue that I had with the 16 by 16 is that I couldn't get to the high position. And for this boat, I fish in the high position. So hope this helps, gives you an idea of what fits where and how to configure out in your boat. But it's a really neat setup. I like what I've seen so far and fished with both of them. I just wanted you to see that if you run this boat, you probably need this Blackpak, the 13 by 16. Hope that helps. Y'all take care.